Good morning, everyone. My name is Joshua May Dalugdog, and I will be discussing the cell theory. Cell theory is one of the basic principles of biology. Credits for the formulation of this theory is given to German scientists Theodor Swann, Matthias Kleden, and Rudolf Virchow. The cell theory states that all living organisms are composed of cells. They may be single one, which is the unicellular, or many cells, which is the multicellular, and that the cell is the basic unit of life. And last one, cells arise from pre-existing cells. Now we have the modern version of cell theory, and this includes the ideas that energy flow occurs within the cells. Hereditary information, which is the DNA, is passed on from cell to cell, and that cells have the same basic chemical composition. So what are cells? Cells are the simplest unit of matter that is living. All living organisms in the kingdoms of life are composed of and depend on cells to function normally. Not all cells, however, are alike. There are two primary types of cells, the eukaryotic and the prokaryotic cells. Examples of eukaryotic cells include animal cell, plant cells, and the fungal cells, while the prokaryotic includes the bacteria and the archaeans. Cells contain organelles or tiny cellular structures that carry out specific functions necessary for normal cellular operations. Cells also contain the DNA and the RNA, which is the genetic information necessary for directing cellular activities. Cell reproduction. Eukaryotic cells grow and reproduce through a complex sequence of events called the cell cycle. At the end of the cycle, cells will divide either through the process of mitosis or meiosis. Somatic cells replicate through mitosis. Sex cells reproduce via meiosis. Prokaryotic cells reproduce commonly through a type of asexual reproduction called binary fission. Higher organisms are also capable of asexual reproduction. Plants, algae, and fungi reproduce through the formation of reproductive cells called spores. And last, we have the animal organisms that can reproduce asexually through the processes such as budding, fragmentation, regeneration, and parthenogenesis. Now we have the cell processes. Number 1, we have the cellular respiration and photosynthesis. Cells perform a number of important processes that are necessary for the survival of an organism. Cells undergo the complex process of cellular respiration in order to obtain energy stored in the nutrients consumed. Photosynthetic organisms, including plants, algae, and cyanobacteria, are capable of photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, light energy from the sun is converted to glucose. Glucose is the energy source used by photosynthetic organisms and other organisms that consume photosynthetic organisms. We have also the endocytosis and exocytosis. Cells also perform the active transport processes of endocytosis and exocytosis. Endocytosis is the process of internalizing and digesting substances such as seen with macrophages and bacteria. The digestive substances are expelled through exocytosis. These processes also allow for molecular transportation between cells. And then we have the cell migration. Cell migration is a process that is vital for the development of tissues and organs. Cell movement is also required for mitosis and cytokinesis to occur. Cell migration is made possible by interactions between motor enzymes and cytoskeleton microtubules. And the last one, we have the DNA replication and protein synthesis. The cell process of DNA replication is an important function that is needed for several processes, including chromosome synthesis and cell division to occur. DNA transcription and RNA translation make the process of protein synthesis possible. And that's all we have for the cell theory. Thank you very much.